there was no way that I thought I needed treatment.
I thought it was pretty much a joke.
I was expecting a mental institution like locked doors in a rubber room and, straitjackets.
With guards, a fence, dirty people, winos.
Not be able to go nowhere, not be able to do nothing, and especially not be able to do drugs. So hell no, I'm not going in.
In the beginning, we make so many excuses why we can't go to treatment. We don't know what to expect, and we're scared of the unknown.
I thought it would have just been a waste of time. I felt that I was in total control of my drug use.
You don't want to admit it, because if you admit it, then you know there's a problem and you have to do something about it.
I'm Kristen. I used for years and didn't think I needed help. Didn't think I could be helped. Now I know that was just the addiction talking. I didn't understand what treatment was or what it could do for me. Treatment offered a way out of the chaos, but that chaos was my life, and I didn't know anything else.
I got arrested 2 times in less than a 3-day period. I posted bail, got out of jail, went right back the next day.
I was coming up with one excuse after another for why I could not be at work. And finally, my supervisor said, I know what you're doing, and you need help, or you're going to lose your job.
I ended up quitting my job, and I lost everything that I had. I lost my cars, I lost my house, and I ended up losing my family, which was the painful part.
Mom.
I'm sleeping in my car. I'm eating at 99-cent stores. I'm eating out of dumpsters. Life was not fun.
I woke up and I was in the middle of being evicted. All my stuff was outside. I was on the couch, and I didn't know what was going on around me. All I knew was my son was gone because he wasn't there.
I wanted my kids to be gone. I even left them with the lady that I bought the meth from.
After we use for a while, we begin to notice serious consequences in our lives. Despite the damage, many of us are unable to stop using on our own and feel conflicted about entering treatment.
Danny!
Meth has given us lots of good times and good feelings. While part of us may want to stop and leave the chaos behind, another part of us wants to keep using and can't imagine life without meth. These mixed feelings are a sign of addiction.
Julia, where's Danny? Julia, where is Danny?
When I didn't have meth, I felt like I just couldn't go on. And when I used meth, I felt like I couldn't go on.
I never on my own said, I want a recovery, I want to stop, I need help.
Danny!
Some people say you have to be ready, or you have to hit rock bottom first. But there is no wrong time or wrong reason to start treatment. While this might be a surprise, we are just as likely to succeed in recovery regardless of whether we choose to go on our own or are forced by family members, employers, or a judge.
Danny?
Dad?
Oh my God, where have you been?
I've been walking my dog.
How long have you been out?
I've been out since the afternoon.
The day I decided I needed to enter treatment, my mom was sleeping on the couch, and I basically said, Mom, wake up. I'm addicted to drugs. I'm HIV positive. I need help, and I need it now.
Do you want to know where I found Danny? Huh? He was 4 blocks down the street. What if he got hit in my car, huh? How long before you would have gotten up or even cared? Huh? I'm taking Danny with me. I'm gonna take him someplace safe. You either get some help, or I'm taking your son. Is this a daily occurrence? You go wandering in different directions?
I just could no longer do what I was doing. I was tired. Tired of the way I was, tired of the things I did, tired of who I was seeing in the mirror. I was tired of dying.
I knew that I wanted to quit so I could be in my son's life, but at the same time, I didn't know how.
Danny, you're gonna go stay with Grandma for a little while, okay?
But I don't want to go and stay with you.
I know. But Mommy's sick right now, and we have to get her better before you can come back, okay? You ready to go? Do you understand? Yeah? All right. Let's get you a miracle there. It's just gonna be a little while, all right? Grandma's gonna take good care of you.
I took my kids to DCFS because I wanted to better myself. I wanted to be right, and I wanted to be able to be the parent that I know that I should be. And DCFS took me to the treatment center that I wanted to go to.
I was nervous about going in because I felt like I was going to be shut off from the world for 90 days. But I knew if I didn't do it, I was going to die.
Shelly, did you finish it? Shelly! Shelly!
I ended my drug use by going to prison.
Police!
We often hear that meth users can't recover. Well, that's simply not true. Studies show that meth users do as well in treatment as those who abuse other substances. Recovery from meth is possible. There are many roads to recovery. No single treatment works for everyone. But our goals remain the same: to stop using meth, avoid relapse, and improve our physical and mental health, our relationships, jobs, and quality of life. Treatment is a combination of therapies and services targeted to our individual needs. It can occur in residential settings or outpatient offices. Many of us receive treatment in both.
I went into a residential treatment program, and it was a real opportunity for me to just be in a safe place and just concentrate on learning how to live without being on drugs, and I really needed that.
They had a nice little lawn and flowers, and there was children and ladies running around and welcoming you in. I was like, this can't be the right place.
Residential programs provide a place to live and receive treatment in a drug-free environment without the stresses and temptations of the outside world.
I'm Mac. I have an appointment.
Those of us with severe addiction who are homeless, responsible for children, or need extra help might begin the treatment process in a residential setting.
At the beginning, when I got out there to fill out the paperwork and all that, I was scared. I was scared because I didn't know what was going to happen. But that was the only choice I had to get my family back.
Outpatient treatment provides structure and support as we learn how to live in the world without meth. Most of us start the treatment process in an outpatient program where we live at home and attend regular sessions at an outpatient office or clinic. During the first 4 to 6 months, we visit the clinic almost daily. Programs specific to women, gay, and bisexual men, or those with co-occurring mental health disorders, often give us the added support we need to move forward in our recovery. One of the most common pathways for entering treatment is through the criminal justice system. In-prison programs, followed by community treatment and drug court, offer many of us the help we need when we need it.
Except we need to get those guys out of there, huh? Yeah.
Instead of being incarcerated, we are given a chance at treatment. A judge closely monitors our participation and works with us and our counselors to ensure our progress in treatment.
Court's in session. Remain seated. Come to order, please.
Morning, everybody.
The way drug court works is you do your classes, you test clean, you go to court every Friday, you get your charges dismissed, and you win. You fail to do any of those things, and you lose, and you go to jail.
When we first enter treatment, we're given an assessment to identify our unique needs.
And I'm going to give you some information for you to read over tonight. Would you do that?
And create a customized plan that allows us to deal with the problems that keep us stuck in our addiction.
When I first went in for assessment, it was almost like a slap in the face. The interviewer basically started asking me questions about my use and what I've been doing, and I had no idea that I'd become the person that I had. It was almost like I was talking about another person.
During treatment, it is important to receive medical and dental care to address any health problems caused by our use. Those of us suffering from mental health issues should also receive psychiatric care.
I found myself either really happy and excited about something going on in my life, or really, really sad and just wanting to sleep.
I just feel really depressed all the time.
I was diagnosed as bipolar and given medication.
We'll make sure that you see a doctor. Okay?
Meth addiction is a serious and powerful disorder, and there is no quick fix. It takes time for our bodies and brains to heal.
Just give it a few days, okay?
The first 3 weeks of my early recovery, it was hell for me. It was horrible, because I wanted to go out and use.
I felt extremely vulnerable.
I remember crying a lot.
I could not sit still. I couldn't sleep. Even when I slept, my body would be jerking, my jaw would be gnashing.
I slurred, and I couldn't comprehend that quickly.
Treatment provides us with the knowledge and support system necessary to change our attitudes and behaviors and to build new lives.
I'll pick you up in a few hours, okay?
When we learn about our addiction and what to expect in recovery, we become more involved and more likely to succeed.
Julia, welcome. Come on over here and have a seat.
I didn't go in there wanting to absorb all this information, happy-go-lucky about being in recovery. You know, I went in there kind of cross-armed, but eventually it started sinking in.
Julia, has that been a problem for you at all?
I don't know what to say.
In treatment, I learned that there are phases in recovery that I would be going through, and they gave me tools and gave me knowledge ahead of time so that I would know how to deal with this and know what to expect and know approximately when it's going to end.
After a few weeks off meth, we begin to feel better and may believe that we're healed. Some people call this the pink cloud or the honeymoon stage.
It was almost like someone gave me a really good antidepressant pill. Everything was wonderful.
I thought I was cured, I was healed, and I could go back to doing whatever I needed to do.
This feeling is deceptive. Once we are off meth for 4 to 6 weeks, we may enter an emotionally dark period characterized by depression, irritability, fatigue, and hopelessness. We call this set of symptoms, which often last for the next 8 to 12 weeks, protracted abstinence or the wall. Relapse is a big risk during this stage, so it is crucial for us to keep attending treatment sessions.
I went through a flatline.
Really kind of a hard depression kind of a stage where I really couldn't get out of bed. A lot of the times I felt like, well, I know what'll fix this.
Symptoms of the wall typically fade once we hit 4 to 6 months without meth, but the journey isn't over. Individual and group counseling is central to any treatment program. These sessions help us gain the skills and stability we need to stay off meth, to improve our relationships and build a new life. Sam Minsky is an experienced therapist. Here he meets with a group in recovery.
Doing a daily schedule is a way to create a portable structure that you can take out with you into the world. It's a way to reduce anxiety. It's a way to get things done. It's a way to avoid triggers, to keep yourself safe, to clean up some of the wreckage from the past in a reasonable way. And it's just one of those things I really recommend that you do every day. You get into the habit of doing this, okay?
I needed that structure because before I didn't have structure. I had money and I had dope.
I needed to have something simple, to have simple, effective tools, a basic program, because life gets out of control.
Treatment helped me get into that routine of cooking, cleaning, getting to meetings, doing what I have to do, so that when I left that place, I was able to do that on my own.
There are a number of specific treatment methods and recovery activities that are effective in treating meth addiction. This includes learning how to identify our triggers. Triggers generally fall into 2 categories, external and internal. External triggers are the people, places, and things that we associate with our use. Internal triggers are intense emotions such as anger, hurt, desire, or fear. When we think about or come into contact with these triggers, our brain anticipates the meth high, causing us to crave.
So let's first talk about the external triggers, the people, places, and things. And what I'd like you to think about is what were or are some of the most powerful external triggers for you.
What's hard about triggers is that they come when you least expect it. There's triggers that I know about that I prepare for, like going certain places, certain people, so I avoid that. I hang out with my friends, I go to a meeting. And then there's triggers that you get that you don't expect. For me, that could be a lack of money, getting ready to go out, certain songs that might just pop up on the radio that I was not expecting.
What we want you to do is identify all your triggers and then try to avoid the external ones as much as possible. And with the emotional triggers, not to avoid them, but to learn some new coping mechanisms, which is all about what we do here and can all be called relapse prevention.
Games like Goon and War. But you're ready to come home now, right? Yeah. You miss Mom? All right. Miss you a lot.
Julia, you're not ready.
You're ready to come home, right?
We talked about this.
He's my son. I've had it.
It's not always possible to avoid triggers. When we encounter a trigger, it causes us to think about using, which leads to craving, which may result in use. Techniques like thought stopping help us interrupt the thought before it grows into a craving, which is harder to control. With time off meth, cravings become less frequent and less intense.
It's just, you're in the grip. It's like you're just in this vehicle and it's going to take you right there. But it's just a thought. It really is. I mean, it's a feeling. It goes right through you. It does.
You're right. I'm not ready.
When you recognize yourself having that first initial thought of using, that's when you use your thought-stopping techniques so it doesn't progress into craving, because it's much harder to stop at that point.
Using meth helped numb all the emotions I didn't want to feel. In recovery, I've learned how to deal with those emotions and those feelings instead of running from them.
I would get mad at my kids and I would scream at the top of my lungs. I would get mad at the neighbor and I would scream at the top of my lungs.
It was about self-medicating, not wanting to feel, not wanting to deal with family problems or whatever it may be, not wanting to deal with me.
When you're using, your coping mechanism is to use chemicals. It's pharmacological. People who use drugs become black belts at coping with chemicals. Part of this recovery process is going to be to learn new coping mechanisms, because that option you're taking away from yourselves.
I tried calling Shelly today. I couldn't do it.
You can't avoid certain emotions. We don't think it's healthy. If anger is one of your trigger emotions, it's not healthy to stuff your anger. So the goal becomes a little different with emotional triggers. The goal is to identify what your emotional triggers are so that you can come up with an alternative coping mechanism.
I learned the timeout technique. It was through the staff at the facility I was at. I guess other people could see the behavior or were more aware of me than I was. So they, Diane, timeout. And at first, yes, it made me angry. How are you gonna tell me when I need a timeout? But I learned from it, and even when there was nobody around to tell me I needed a timeout, I was like, this is when somebody usually tells me to time out.
Part of recovery is developing coping skills that allow you to respond to your emotions in a controlled way.
Shelly, it's Mac.
It's about knowing what my demons are, what my buttons are, and what I do when those buttons are pressed, and not taking the easy way out.
And today when I'm angry, I say something like, you know, you really make me mad.
It's like cartoons. You have the little angel, the little devil. The little devil's always gonna tell you, she don't love you no more. What's up with that? Why don't you go get high? And the little angel on the other side's like, you don't have to do that. You know you're a better person.
Many of us in recovery feel guilt and shame about the things we did during our use. But if we understand that addiction is a brain disease that dramatically affects our behavior, we can stop blaming ourselves and become more open to recovery.
Treatment taught me that there is nothing I can do about my past. And being able to realize that and understand that, I was able to forgive myself for not being a mother to my son, for not being a daughter to my parents, and also for the things I did to myself while I was in my addiction.
I don't have to walk with my head down. I don't have to feel ashamed of what I've done in the past because I've done that. You can't change it. But what you can do is prevent it from happening again.
Thanks, Grandma.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, how may I help you?
I'm here to see Mac Lewis.
We don't realize as addicts what we do to our family members, the people we drag down this road with us in this disease.
In my addiction, I had no relationship with anybody but my drugs.
As an addict, somehow we feel like as soon as we stop using, we want all these accolades, or we want someone to say, good job, you're not using. But sometimes we forget about all the hell we've caused them for so long.
During our use, we often hurt the people we care about, and this damage doesn't go away overnight. Involving those closest to us in the treatment process allows us to repair these relationships and improve our chances of success. Many programs offer family therapy, couples counseling, and family education groups like the one featured here.
So a common thing that family members often ask is, why can't you just stop? You know, they say things like, you must love the drugs more than you love us. You know, it's causing so many problems for you, for us, for your children. You know, why not just stop? And one of the reasons that they can't stop is what we now know from the science, is